Guys, today's video is on the properties of real numbers. So if you're looking at some examples in the lesson, which are probably not in the textbook, it says to predict two things you will learn about the properties of real numbers. You'll learn that real numbers are fractions. They could be fractions. And you can also see that real numbers, they could be negative as well. Let's now look at a little bit of the vocabulary. Middle of the page, doing some matching. So spend a little bit of time matching what you think integers are, real numbers, natural, rational, whole, and irrational. This should be a little bit of a review for you. So I know numbers used for counting are natural numbers, that goes there. Numbers that could be expressed as a ratio of two integers where they either terminate or repeat with the bar on top, those are rational. So any number like a fraction or a decimal that repeats are rational. Let's look at another one. The set of numbers which represent all points on the number line. So basically everything is real. Next one, numbers that cannot be expressed as a ratio of two integers. So if you cannot make it a fraction, it is irrational. Examples are like pi or like 1.1234 ... If it has the ... and it does not repeat, it is automatically irrational. Next one, the counting numbers and 0 is whole. A way I remember it is if it has the 0 that looks like a whole. So that's the difference between whole and natural. And then lastly, whole numbers and their opposites are all the way up there, that's integers. So whole numbers and their opposites mean -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, going forever and ever in each direction. Make sure you have those answers correctly matched up. And let's move on. What I'm going to do here is explain, kind of describe, not what the property is for 1, 2, and 3, but what mathematically makes it true. So for number 1, changing the order in addition problem has no effect on the sum. Same thing applies to multiplication. Changing the grouping in a multiplication doesn't change the product. Basically 1 and 2 means you move any numbers around in an addition or multiplication problem. It does not affect the answer on either side. Lastly, if we have any number A and we add its opposite, it's always going to equal 0. So we can write adding opposites always makes 0. Basically common sense stuff for these three problems. Let's go to the next page and sort some real numbers. This diagram is representation of real numbers. It's written by basically subsets, starting with the smallest subset is natural, bigger subset is whole, even bigger integer, and all integers are rational, and all rational are real. So what we're going to do is take each number and we're going to place it into the smallest subset that it belongs to, the smallest circle. Let's start with the square root of 2. If you type that in your calculator, you get a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal. It is irrational. Basically, any non-perfect square inside of a square root is always irrational. Next one, let's look at 4. 4 is a counting number. It belongs in natural. 0, the smallest subset 0 could be, is in whole. Since it's rational, it's an integer, it's whole, but it's not natural, since natural starts at the number 1. 2/3, it's real, obviously, and it is a fraction, so you can write it in a rational number. It's not integer, because it's not negative or positive whole numbers. 1,000 is natural. Pi is irrational. 2.25 is a terminating decimal, meaning it stops. It's not an integer, so the smallest it belongs to is rational. -22 is irrational, but it's also integer, since it's a positive or negative whole number. And then lastly, 2.6541, repeating, since it has that bar on top, which is actually called a vinculum. Maybe you've heard of that, probably not. This belongs in the rational set of numbers. The bar again means those 6541 repeats. Next thing we're going to do is write a couple properties of real numbers after I erase this stuff up here. Okay, let's scroll down. 6.72 plus -6.72. That is the inverse property of addition. Inverse meaning we can add the opposite. Number 2, 3b plus 2b is equal to the same thing as 3 plus 2 parenthesis b. Little tricky one here. It may have made more sense if we rewrote it as this. Rewriting it like that makes it look like the distributive property a little bit more clear. Distributive. Number 3, we have -3 parenthesis 2 times 5 equals -3 times 2 times 5. The order of the numbers is staying the same. The only thing that's changing is these parentheses. That is the associative property of multiplication. Number 4, 5 times a equals a times 5. We're changing the order. So C for change, C for commutative. And that's of multiplication. Lastly, number 5, 6 over 11 times 11 over 6. We're multiplying by the reciprocal, important word, to equal 1. That is multiplicative inverse of, I guess we don't need to say multiplication. Just write multiplicative inverse, or the inverse property of multiplication. Helping you remember at the bottom, think about how can the words commuter, association, and distribution help you remember those types of properties. It's basically up to you. My example that I can think of is commutative. Commuter, you're going back and forth between two places, like at your job. Association is who you associate with in terms of a group of people. When I think of group, I think of grouping, parentheses. And distribution, I think of distributing something to multiple people, kind of handing papers out, like as a teacher does. So whatever you associate those words with, come up with a couple examples and write that in the blank there. Write what other questions you have for us to go over, and have a great night.